Are live. We are live. We have a great show for you today. Big show. My name is King David. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a pro MMA champion. I coach mixed martial arts at Extreme Couture, and I recently helped felony Charles Bennett get his first knockout victory at Bare Knuckle Mania since 2016. We've got a big show for you tonight. We got a lot to get into. Jake Paul's disappointing scandal. People are cooking Jake Paul right now, man. He was making big promises. He did not deliver on those promises. And we're going to get into all that. I'm going to tell you what that's all about, what people are upset about. Jake Paul also has a mixed martial arts card coming up where he is the promoter on Netflix for Ronda Rousey. What's up? What's up? Finally, Charles Bennett in the building. What's up, man? Hogan in the building. Let's freaking go, guys. Good to see the chat popping off already. And Jake Paul is promoting Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, and he's going directly at the UFC. But in other Jake Paul news, he was just on stage with Trump, and we're going to get into the political significance of that because Trump has endorsed, listen to the reality we're living in. Donald Trump has endorsed Jake Paul for political office. That's where we're at on the timeline, guys. That's the timeline that we've switched to, okay? In the simulation, that's where we're at. Okay, so tonight I also was on the phone with my girlfriend, and we had a big alien debate, like aliens from outer space. So that got me on a tangent. There's something called the dark forest theory. So we're going to get into dark forest theory and why I think it's wrong. We're going to get into that. We're going to get trippy and weird. We're going to talk about aliens, guys, because you know why. I'm popping out tomorrow to Seattle, Washington, to then drive to Yakima with my dear friend, my training partner, my teammate, Cameron Williamson. He is fighting out there. So tonight's my last night out here in training with Felony before I pop out for 4 days to come back to train more. We did 10 rounds back to back. We were the only two that showed up to sparring because bare knuckle simulation sparring is pretty brutal and not everybody spars every day like we do. So that was pretty cool that me and Felony got 10 rounds in nonstop. Also, speaking of fights, the White House card has another issue. It's that Washington, D.C. has said that their commission will not be sanctioning the White House card for UFC, so that fight is allegedly going to be unsanctioned. So my question to you guys is, how can they possibly have title fights or interim titles if they're not sanctioned fights? So we're going to get into that. And finally, in dramatic tabloid influencer news, nonsense, gossip, right? Just to make it fun, guys, because, the alien stuff's going to get weird. That's super fun. I'm excited to talk about that. But to make it even more spicy tonight for you, Pierce Morgan got cooked again, guys. So Pierce Morgan's trying to stay relevant by bringing streamers on, but he doesn't realize that the streamers don't fuck with him and they don't adhere to the same rules that his generation adhered to, which is like finger wagging and shame and guilt. So, he started to do his thing, and the Gen Z, the Zoomers have figured out how to defeat the Boomers, and Pierce walked off the show, man. It got crazy by a dude named HS Tiki Taki. So HS Tiki Taki got him, and I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it. It might be his Tiki Taki, right? But whatever. This dude's he sounds like he's from Britain or something. And man, he got Pierce. So he raised Pierce's cortisol level so high that Pierce anger maxed and walked off. He mocked him on his own show. So that was pretty entertaining and interesting. So let's get right into tonight's big sponsor, Fight Circus, home of the freak show fights. Freaky fights. Anything you want that involves two or more people fighting, you can get at Fight Circus. We're not going to get into details tonight because every time I mention the specifics about the fights, YouTube is very... they see things differently than people see them in Thailand. In Thailand, there's names for things that out here you have to pretend are different things. Well, you might see those types of people in Thailand fighting against grown men who are men. Listen, go to Fight Circus, guys. Furthermore, if you know a gym owner, think about your coach. I want you to envision your coach. I want you to envision money raining down on your coach. I want your coach to put his arm around you and say, thank you. Send your coach to studiomillions.com. Studio Millions will pack their gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer. Let's hop on to the first story of the night, Jake Paul's disappointing scandal. Jake Paul promised the world something. Jake Paul didn't deliver on that promise. Okay, Jake Paul started hinting that there was going to be a big announcement today. And he was saying it was going to be a big fight announcement. That's what everybody was talking about. Who's the next fight they're going to announce? And I saw some rumors that it was going to be Demetrius Johnson. I saw some other rumors that it was going to be Lorenz Larkin. Jake Paul decided. First of all, let me rewind the story. No, let's fast forward. We'll go back to that in a second. Jake Paul announced that they have a new formula for W deodorant. Like, what, bro? We want to see the fights, bro. We want you to announce something crazy. We want you to announce freaking Dustin Poirier is a free agent and he's coming over to fight. Like, we want earth-shattering fight news like you're implying is going to be announced. We don't want to hear about this stupid deodorant, bro. It glides on easier. And then he had the audacity to say that if you guys haven't seen it, Jake Paul was with Trump at a rally in Kentucky because Trump is going to where people are kind of supporting him no matter what, right? So a lot of people are being critical of Trump right now, but a lot of people in Kentucky, I mean, he had a lot of people there from what I could see. I guess they're still rocking with it, trust the plan. But Jake Paul pulled up to the rally, which was, good for Jake, I guess. He's hanging out with the president. But when he lifted his arms up, he had all these big pit stains. And he said that those pit stains were premeditated so that he could announce W's new gliding formula. You guys believe it? Do you believe that that's why Jake Paul was sweaty? Or do you think that he's injecting anabolic steroids into himself, which are making him sweat profusely? Which one? You got to pick one or the other, right? Can you, is that he had fake pit stains because he planned that he was, but they weren't even together in the announcement. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even put them together. It wasn't like a clever way of doing it. It was like, oh guys, and by the way, you guys are asking about my pit stains. It's about that announcement. I planned my pit stains on purpose. It's like, bro, come on, dog. Rare Jake Paul L. Jake took an L on that one. We still want to hear about what fights are coming out. And if you guys are asking me, because I get I'm doing an MMA show. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, subject matter expert, professional MMA champion, subject matter expert, right? Did 10 rounds nonstop with a freaking legend today, subject matter expert. And you guys are commenting about political takes? Political takes? You want me to talk about politics? Dude, listen. Donald Trump, the sitting president of the United States, is endorsing Jake Paul for political office. He said, I have a feeling that Jake Paul is going to run for office very soon, and he has my full endorsement. And you guys want me to have a serious take on politics. Is that what Mr. commenting in my comment section about my political views, which are politics is jester, aka clavicular, is a genius, right? He doesn't let his cortisol rise. I disagree with Clav on looks maxing. I think that that's for chicks. If you can look better, good, I guess do it. But status maxing, money maxing, confidence maxing, competence maxing are going to take you a lot farther in the dating market and in life than looks maxing. But clavicular did say one genius thing for sure, which is politics are jester. And when I say that I don't get involved in politics, that I don't know what's going on, I intentionally don't do any research. I intentionally don't watch the news. I intentionally don't get involved in the reels, okay? And then I got people commenting. Guys, you can go in the comment section on my past videos, my past lives, and you can see these people going, hey, if you don't have a political take, that's a political take in and of itself, because by standing by and doing nothing, you're actually blah, blah, blah. Shut up, bro. Jake Paul's running for office, okay? What's your politics now, bro? Where's your You want me to take that seriously? Jake Paul running for office. You want me to take that seriously? Guys, get the out of here. You know what I mean? God, come on, bro. What's Jake going to do? Jake's going to tell me about a fucking exit strategy for the Iran war. He's going to talk about the geopolitical significance of the fact that natural liquid gas is what a lot of England and Asia power their homes with, and that by the war going on where we're having Israel's attacking the gas in Iran, and Iran is countering by going after Qatar. You know what I mean? And Qatar is turning their gas off, and that's what supply. Like, is this going to be his nuanced take on this? Is he going to talk to me about how, like, this is an entire, like, decade-long situation, and that we were doing, natural gas contracts in Ukraine, right? And that's why it was important to fund the war in Ukraine, right? Despite the fact that it wasn't popular and nobody wanted it. But now that we go get at Iran and we have another ally that's bombing their energy production, that somehow we're going to have the energy from Ukraine now, and then that's going to help alleviate the pain that this energy crisis, like, you know what I'm saying? Is this what Jake's going to tell me, guys? Is Jake going to talk about how the energy costs and the energy productions globally are important, and that America has to have the most energy production out of anyone to win the AI race because we need more data centers, and data centers take a lot of energy, and that in order to prevent China from becoming the global leader in AI and taking over the world, that we have to do it first? Is he going to get into that with, like, is that, and here's the coldest part, bro. I don't even pay attention to this shit. And I've got a more detailed, nuanced take than comment section people, right? And I know you guys, I know what you're thinking. Don't spike your cortisol. No, this is fun to me, right? Roasting dorks in the comments is fun to me. And I encourage you guys to go put them on blast as well. Go get at them. Bang on them. I know I got some real ones on the stream. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We freaking shove nerds in lockers and give them wedgies, right? Stuff their heads in toilets. Flush the toilets, okay? That's what we do. We give them swirlies, right? We lock them in their locker. So anyways, we got some dorks in the comments saying that I should have political takes. Meanwhile, the President of the United States is endorsing Jake Paul for political office. So what's your take on that? Furthermore, speaking of, crazy conspiracy theories, there might be aliens, guys, right? Oh, the government's going to announce there's aliens. There's going to be disclosure. And then one side saying that it's a freaking psyop. The other side is saying, finally, we're going to know the truth, right? So my girlfriend and I were talking. She's a literal genius. Like, I'm talking 180 IQ, 4.0 at Berkeley, multiple languages. She plays multiple instruments. She's a freaking dime piece, fucking 25 out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. She won like a world beauty pageant. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's got a lot of positive attributes, and one of the things that I find most impressive is that how freaking intelligent she is. And she was talking to me about dark force theory, which essentially says that we have to treat the universe. I know I told you guys we were going to get trippy. Now we're getting into dark forest theory about the universe and aliens, right? That's how we just go from Jake Paul to dark forest to aliens. You know what I mean? That's what we do here, guys. We do whatever we freaking want. No telling what I might do. So dark forest theory states that we should assume that we're in a dark forest, aka the universe, and that any contact with any alien race, that they're going to be adversarial and they're going to be more technologically advanced than us. So we are to assume that they're going to be malevolent, which means bad, evil, trying to get us, aggressive, attack us. And therefore, we should always strike first. We should attack them, right? And this might sound like government propaganda from the people who go to war for our benefit. So we should always attack the aliens. No, so that's the dark force theory. And furthermore, Stephen Hawking even said, and we're not going to get involved in those conspiracy theories, okay? We like to keep our channel online. So we're not going to get into other, but let's talk about what his scientific thoughts were on this subject. And he said that we should never, ever, ever, ever attempt to make contact with aliens, because what if they're bad? So like we should hide. We should hide, guys. We should stay in our rooms and we should never go outside and the air is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thinking, right? So let's break this down. Assuming aliens have technology and they're bad, they most likely could find us. And if they were bad, they would have already killed us all, right? Like they would have handled it. Boom, done, right? Furthermore, if they have unlimited technology and they're bad, they would have wiped all each other out, right? So they would have been going back and forth with each other and boom, they probably wouldn't exist, right? If they were like an aggressive, warlike species and they have infinite, military power. They probably would have done themselves and everybody around them off and, they wouldn't be around. So to think the opposite of that is that if they have this technology, they must be peaceful because they're still around. And in order to survive over a timeline, then they're going to be peaceful, right? So that's why I think that any aliens out there got to be peaceful, guys. So I don't believe in dark forest theory because one might suggest that if you are into physics, right, that if something is true, it should be true in the extreme. So if dark forest theory is true, which means the extrapolation is that we have to assume the worst case scenario to stay alive, right? Well, then shouldn't that be true about going outside? Well, what if I go outside and I get hit by a truck? Okay, what if I get hit by lightning? What if, you know what I mean? So then you got to stay inside. Well, what if the roof falls on me? Okay, well, then we can't have a roof. Okay, well, what if a freaking drone falls out of the sky and lands on me because I don't have a roof, right? Like, so that type of thinking doesn't stay strong in the extreme. It doesn't hold in the extreme. So it can't be true, right? So we got into this tonight and it got me to thinking about, here's some common theories that I've heard. Aliens have left UFO technology on planet Earth as kind of gifts, as like, hey, study this thing. Because the theory is that, like, let's say Bob Lazar, he had access to working alien crafts at Area 51 and they were not wrecked. They were just like left and bounced. Felony Charles Bennett. Aliens are real. Let's go. Bro, yeah. So, but here's a question, Felony. Where do they come from, bro? Are they from a different planet? Some might say, two different theories. We're on a flat Earth and the aliens come from beyond the ice wall. Somebody else might say that there's a hole in Antarctica and they live in the center of the Earth. The water, that's another one. The Marianas Trench, which we've never explored. It's very deep. We haven't explored most of the ocean. We've explored more space than we have our own ocean. They're saying they're underwater, right? So like now, are they still aliens at that point? Or are they just some other super intelligent species? Then that leads us to ask the question, like, what are we? Are we their science experiment, right? Some people say they're interdimensional beings. If you listen to X, some people say there's a spiritual war going on and it's angels and demons and it's not aliens and that these are spiritual beings and some of them are here to help and some of them are bad. And then some people are praying to one side and some people are praying to the other side. And then there's good and evil and that we're in an intergalactic, cosmic, multi-dimensional war for the souls of humanity, Or maybe the Earth's flat. Maybe the Earth's flat, guys. I'm not saying the Earth is flat. Okay, the Earth's flat. But that's obvious, right? Like, if you go out and you see a ship and it goes over the horizon, right? And you're like, oh, we went around the curve of the globe. No, dude, you can get like a telescope and still see it, right? The Earth's flat AF. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, guys. Is the Earth flat? Are the aliens coming from outside of the ice wall? Is that what we're talking about now? And so I play around about flat Earth a lot. Obviously the Earth's a globe, right? Right, obviously. But if you have friends that are in a flat Earth and they start sending you flat Earth reels, you'll see like there's actually like, why does the flight path go from here to here when there's a straight line from here to here on a globe? And then when you go to flat Earth, these 2 points, right, Actually, the point is up here on a flat Earth. So that's why the flight path is like that. It's actually a straight line on a flat Earth map, right? Some other people would say, hey, why would an airplane pilot, why do airplanes not correct for the curvature of the Earth, right? Why do they fly at an altitude straight without correcting for curvature? Like, I'm not a scientist, guys. I'm just telling you what the reals say, right? You could do your own research. But some people are saying that aliens are coming from outside the ice wall. Some people say they're coming from the center of the Earth. Some people are saying, which a lot of people agree on this, they're coming from the ocean. And some other people are saying they're coming from space, another dimension, other timelines, in the past, in the future, forward, backwards, time traveling. It's fun to think about. I'd rather think about that, personally, than a lot of what is allegedly going on politically. Personally, it's more fun, man. Good vibes only, guys. I'm vibing. Right? Can't get me in a bad mood. I'm out here vibing. Right? Okay, so so now that we talked about aliens for a little bit, let's get back to MMA for 2 seconds. Speaking of reptilians, the White House car. No, I'm just playing. That's a joke. That's a joke, guys. I don't think the government is controlled by reptiles. Okay, I'm playing around. I'm trolling. Okay, so speaking of the White House, the UFC is having a big event there, very big event. They're going to spend $60 million on the event. Out of their own pocket, they're hoping to recoup $30 million on sponsorships and other deals. And the DC government says that they will not sanction the fights. So this is my question. I don't know, Felony, if you're still on, maybe you got some insight on this. But how will they have actual title fights if they're unsanctioned fights? Like, is that what we're doing now? Like, so if you guys don't know, when you start fighting in MMA, you fight, like, sometimes in unsanctioned fights on Indian casinos because it's easier to get the fight on sovereign Indian Native American land, right? Like, at an Indian casino, like, they're their own governing body. They're their own sanctioning body. They're their own commission, right? They don't listen to white ass United States. Okay, that's dude. I got the charger in on my phone. I just kicked the charger. But yeah. So on native land, they don't have to adhere to the same laws that people in the United States whatever, right? Like, people under the jurisdiction of the United States government have to adhere to certain laws. Some of those are governing bodies in order to get licensed and sanctioned and have fights. You can't just have random fights. On Native American casinos, you can, because they're their own sanctioning body. They're their own government. They're sovereign, right? So is that what's going on in DC? Is DC just saying, like, hey, we're not going to sanction these fights? So how are they going to have a UFC title fight in an unsanctioned fight that's not going to go on their pro record? I'm sure Dana's going to figure this out. I'm sure he's going to figure it out. His boy's Trump. Trump's going to make a call. Okay, Trump's going to make a call. They're going to get a commissioning, licensing, sanctioning body in there, and these fights are going to be on the pro record. They're going to be legitimate fights. But my question is like, man, what is going on? Why are they currently not sanctioning the fights, man? Is that like, why is DC doing this, man? What could it be? Speaking of things that I don't understand, I do understand why he thinks it's a good idea to do it. But there's a dude, his name's Piers Morgan. He owns like a TV show, he's the host of a TV show. And, TV's dying, guys. Netflix is taking over, Kick's taking over, YouTube's taking over, while I'm on YouTube. And Piers Morgan has decided he's going to try and get in on the influencer action. So he's been bringing influencers on. The first influencer that he brought on, I can't even say this guy's name on YouTube, okay? We'll call him Fick Nuentes. He says that there's one country that should be first, and he's a fan of America. Let's say it like that, right? Fick Nuentes went on Piers Morgan, and he essentially cooked Pierce. And then Clavicular went on Pierce. Again, Pierce trying to do his boomer shame guilt. Don't you feel bad? You're telling kids to change their looks. Shouldn't they be like, like trying to lecture him. Clavicular stayed unaffected, did not let his cortisol spike, and brought up Pierce's wife's scandalous ass social media posts. So Pierce says he's not had enough, and he decides that he's going to have another streamer on. HS Tiki Taki came on, and HS Tiki Taki cooked him, mobbed him, freaking. he made Pierce Morgan rage quit his own show. Right? Pierce Morgan let his cortisol rise and he rage quit his own show. Had he listened to Clavicular, he would know, never let your cortisol rise, right? We never want a cortisol spike. Never. But he didn't listen. He chose to lecture. That's why God gave him one mouth and two ears. That's why we got it like this, so we can listen more than we talk, guys. Pierce Morgan didn't learn that lesson. He thinks he's above the law. He thinks he's above natural order. He got good advice from the most relevant streamer in the game, chose completely to ignore it, didn't even listen to it, brought another streamer on, and then fell victim to the exact advice he chose not to take. Man, how poetic is that, guys? So, yeah, I think it's hilarious. I'm into all the influencer streamer drama. Shout out to Misfits Boxing. Shout out to MVP, man. You know, like, can we get some more drama? And the issue is Pierce Morgan can't fight anybody. He's like 60, right? But like, I'm into the drama, and he's trying to do it in his way. So it's kind of like he's going to battle with the Gen Z, the Zoomer streamers, and the Zoomers are cooking his ass, man. They're freaking. He rage quit his own show, and if you guys don't know, the reason why he rage quit is because he's essentially a beta to his wife. So his wife is like, oh, when Pierce goes on a work weekend, I call the pool boy. You know what I mean? Like, way out of pocket, like social media posts, way out of pocket. So Pierce has his wife saying this, and now he's trying to cook these streamers, and they're like, dude, bro, before you start telling me about what I should do, I'm, very attractive to women. I have no problems in my dating life. I've got six-pack abs. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm fucking 19 years old, dog. You know what I mean? And you can't even get your wife to not allegedly invite the pool boy over while you're gone, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like, I find it so fascinating that people get stuck in their ways, right? Oh, back in my day, music was music. Dude, that's not the music that's out right now. Back in my day, we used to, like, dog, bro, like, I get that, Pierce. You guys used to shame and guilt each other and, gaslight each other. And that used to be the thing you could do. You could virtue signal. Dude, Gen Z's not having it, bro. Gen Z's on a different wave, man. The Zoomers got it all figured out. I'm a fan of all the streaming, all the monetization, all the, IRL stuff. So I thought that was hilarious, guys. Maybe it's my guilty pleasure. You guys can judge me if you want. It's not all MMA and bashing people's heads off the mat, collecting belts. While that's fun, to bash someone's head off the mat for fun and profits and bring home the gold and the glory. Strangling people in their own pajamas can be fun. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but sometimes I like to see two different viewpoints go back and forth, and one absolutely cook the other. So Pierce Morgan got cooked, and maybe he'll learn from it, but it doesn't seem like he's the type of dude that is open to feedback in that way, so he probably will not expect Pierce Morgan to get cooked by another streamer in the near future. Anyways, guys, that's the show for tonight. Big show. I appreciate you guys hopping on, chatting with me. I got a big flight to Seattle tomorrow. Cameron is fighting in Yakima, Washington this weekend, so we're going to bring a dub home to Extreme Couture. And then I'm getting back. We're going full training mode, Mean Felony, and the gang at XC. We're going to do an embedded or two for you guys, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. Subscribe to me and subscribe to Felony Charles Bennett 352, so you can get the embeddeds when we drop them, because this is a big fight in Hawaii for Felony, and we're going to Hawaii, and he's scrapping a local boy. So anyways, guys, maybe Jake Paul will make a decent announcement tomorrow instead of talking about his stupid-ass deodorant. I hope he gets $10 billion from the deodorant, but hey, man, don't fucking cat dick us saying that you're going to announce some fights and then talk about some Easy Glide deodorant. Love you guys. Peace.